Marcus, you need to understand that this is a professional development opportunity for me and Kevin. The company is investing in our future. That's what my wife Sophia said as she handed me the credit card statements showing $18,400 in charges for what she called a mandatory work conference in Maui, 5-star resort, spa treatments, couples massages, and romantic dinners for two. My name is Marcus Wellington. I'm 47 years old, and I'm the managing director of Wellington Capital Management in San Francisco. What Sophia didn't know as she justified those charges was that I'd been the silent majority owner of Pinnacle Marketing Solutions, her company, for the past 5 years. I owned 65% of the company where she worked, and I'd just watched my wife and her boss Kevin Roberts spend $18,400 of our money on what was clearly an affair, disguised as business travel. I sat at our kitchen table in our Pacific Heights home, reviewing the charges on my laptop: 2 first-class tickets to Maui, 1 presidential suite at the Grand Waila Resort, couples spa packages, private beach dinners, wine tastings for 2. Every charge screamed romantic getaway, not corporate conference. Sophia stood behind me, her hand on my shoulder, still maintaining the charade. The conference fee alone was $8,000, she continued, her voice steady and convincing. Plus, Kevin thought it would be good for team building if we upgraded our accommodations. You know how important this promotion is to me. I nodded slowly, closing the laptop. Of course, professional development is crucial. She kissed the top of my head. I knew you'd understand. That's why I married you. You get how business works. What she didn't get was exactly how well I understood business. And what she couldn't have imagined was that I'd been tracking every expense from this conference in real time through the company's financial management system, a system I controlled as the majority shareholder. The irony was almost beautiful in its simplicity. I met Sophia 8 years ago at a venture capital mixer in downtown San Francisco. She was a marketing coordinator at a small firm, ambitious and sharp, with a laugh that could light up a room. I was already established in private equity, having built Wellington Capital from nothing into a firm managing over $400 million in assets. She was impressed by my success. I was charmed by her drive. We married 2 years later. 3 years into our marriage, a small marketing firm called Pinnacle Solutions came across my desk. They were bleeding money, poorly managed, but had solid client relationships and talented staff. The owner, Harold Pinnacle, was 68 and desperate to retire. The asking price was $2.3 million for a company that should have been worth $8 million if run properly. I made Harold an offer through a shell corporation, NorCal Holdings LLC. Clean purchase, no connection to my name or Wellington Capital visible to employees. The deal closed in 6 weeks. I installed new management, streamlined operations, and within 18 months, Pinnacle was profitable again. The staff never knew ownership had changed hands. Sophia had been working there for a year when I bought it. She came home excited about the new direction the company was taking, the improved benefits, the modern equipment. She had no idea she was praising my decisions. It's like someone with actual business sense is finally running things, she told me over dinner one night. Harold was sweet, but he didn't understand modern marketing. I smiled and refilled her wine glass. New ownership can make a real difference. Whoever bought us knows what they're doing. Rumor is it's some big investment firm. She was half right. For 5 years, I watched her career flourish under my silent guidance. I made sure she got challenging projects, worked with talented colleagues, received fair compensation. When she mentioned wanting to attend marketing conferences, I made sure the education budget was approved. When she needed new software for her department, it appeared in the next quarterly budget. I was the invisible hand guiding her success, and she attributed it all to her own merit and Kevin Roberts' leadership. Kevin Roberts joined Pinnacle as sales director 2 years ago. 34 years old, MBA from Stanford, silver tongue, and wandering eye. I'd hired him because his track record was impressive, but I'd been watching him carefully. The guy had a pattern with female employees that made me uncomfortable, but nothing actionable. Just a little too friendly, a little too touchy at company parties. 6 months ago, I noticed Sophia mentioning Kevin more frequently in her dinner conversations. Kevin thinks this. Kevin suggested that
Kevin and I are working on a new campaign. I started paying closer attention to company expenses, particularly those Kevin approved. The pattern emerged quickly. expensive client dinners where no clients attended, extended business trips to locations with no confirmed meetings, conference registrations that didn't match actual event schedules. Kevin was using company money to fund his personal entertainment. And recently, those expenses included my wife. 3 weeks before the Maui
trip, I discovered something in the company's email server that made my blood run cold. Sophia and Kevin had been using their work accounts to plan what they thought was a secret getaway. The email thread was buried in Kevin's personal projects folder, but as the majority owner, I had access to everything. The Hawaii Marketing Summit is perfect cover, Kevin had written. Book everything on the company card. Tell Marcus it's mandatory. 5 days in paradise, baby. Sophia's response: he's so focused on his own business he won't ask questions. Besides, he makes enough money that $20K won't even register. That's where she was wrong. It wasn't the money that bothered me. It was the betrayal, and the assumption that I was too distracted or too trusting to notice. The night before they left for Maui, Sophia packed her bags with new lingerie I'd never seen. Victoria's Secret receipts showed up on our shared credit card, charged the same day she booked the trip. She kissed me goodbye at the door, her eyes bright with excitement. "I'll miss you," she said, her hands on my chest. "It's only 5 days, but I'll call every night." "Have a productive conference," I replied, meaning every word. She laughed. "Oh, it will be very productive." While they were 30,000 feet over the Pacific, I was in my office implementing a plan I'd been developing for months. Not revenge. That word implies emotion. This was simply good business practice. Protecting my investment, cutting dead weight, maintaining company standards. I started with a complete audit of Kevin's expenses dating back 18 months. The pattern of fraud was undeniable. Personal meals charged as client entertainment, vacation trips labeled as business travel, equipment purchases that never made it to the office. In total, Kevin had stolen $47,300 from the company, more than enough for immediate termination and criminal charges. Then I reviewed Sophia's involvement. Her company credit card showed personal purchases going back 6 months, expensive dinners on nights I was working late, shopping trips during business hours, a weekend in Napa Valley that coincided with Kevin's client visit to the same area. She'd stolen $800–900 in company funds. By Thursday morning Maui time, I had complete documentation of their fraud compiled into a single report. Emails, receipts, security camera footage from the office showing them leaving together during business hours, credit card statements, and GPS data from their company phones. I scheduled 2 emails to be delivered at exactly 2 p.m. Pacific time on Friday, prime beach time in Hawaii. One to Kevin, one to Sophia. Both identical, except for the name. Subject: immediate termination for cause. Kevin, Sophia. Effective immediately. Your employment with Pinnacle Marketing Solutions is terminated for gross misconduct, including but not limited to fraudulent use of company credit cards, falsification of business expense reports, theft of company resources, violation of company ethics policies. Your final paycheck will reflect deductions for stolen funds totaling $47,300 and $8,900 respectively. Security has been notified to escort you from company premises should you attempt to return. Your company credit cards have been canceled, your access badges deactivated, and your company phone service terminated. All evidence of your misconduct has been forwarded to the San Francisco District Attorney's Office for review of potential criminal charges. Do not contact other employees or attempt to access company property or information. Any such contact will be considered harassment and handled accordingly. Regards, NorCal Holdings, LLC majority owner, Pinnacle Marketing Solutions. I hit send at exactly 2 p.m. and then opened the company's financial management app on my phone. Within minutes, I watched as Kevin attempted to use his company card at a beachside restaurant. Declined. He tried again at a hotel gift shop. Declined. Sophia's card was declined at a spa where she'd apparently booked an afternoon massage. My phone started ringing at 2:47 p.m. Kevin's number. I let it go to voicemail. "Marcus, there's been some kind of mistake. I just got an insane email about being fired. Someone hacked the company system. Call me back immediately." I deleted the voicemail without listening to the end. Sophia called at 3:12 p.m. I answered. Marcus, something terrible happened. Kevin and I both got emails saying we're fired for stealing. This is obviously some kind of cyber attack. You need to call whoever handles IT for Pinnacle and fix this. I'll look into it, I said calmly. Look into it? Marcus, my career is being destroyed by hackers. Our credit card stopped working. Kevin thinks maybe it's identity theft or something. Have you tried calling your boss? Kevin is my boss, and his boss never talks to employees. Directly. We don't even know who really owns the company. That is a problem. This isn't funny. We're stuck in Hawaii with no way to pay for anything. The hotel wants payment for our room tonight and my card isn't working. The company cards aren't working? No. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Someone canceled our corporate accounts. Well, I said slowly, if they were company cards and you're no longer employed by the company, that would make sense. The silence stretched for nearly 10 seconds. What do you mean, no longer employed? According to the email you received, you were terminated for fraud and theft. That's not... Marcus, you don't understand. Someone made a mistake. Actually, I understand perfectly. $900 in personal charges on your company card. The Napa Valley trip with Kevin. The romantic dinners while I was working late. The lingerie you bought specifically for this trip. I understand all of it. Another long silence. How do you... Her voice trailed off. Know about your expenses? The email was very detailed. Dates, amounts, locations. Quite thorough documentation. Marcus, I can explain. Some of those charges, they were honest mistakes. And the Napa trip was actually a work event? Like this Hawaii conference that doesn't exist? Like the marketing summit that's not on any industry calendar? Like the business trip where you booked one presidential suite for 2 people? I could hear her. Breathing change. The edge of panic creeping in. How do you know about the room? Same way I know about the couples massage you booked for tomorrow. Same way I know about the private beach dinner Kevin arranged for tonight. Same way I know about the wine tasting you both signed up for on Sunday. You're having us followed? I'm reading your company expense reports, they're quite detailed. But you don't work for Pinnacle. You couldn't possibly have access to... Couldn't I? The realization hit her like a physical blow. I could hear it in the sharp intake of breath, the small sound of understanding that changes everything. Oh my God. Now you're getting it. You own the company. Majority shareholder, actually. 65%. NorCal Holdings is my shell corporation. I bought Pinnacle 3 years before you met Kevin. I've been your boss's boss's boss this entire time. The phone went silent, except for the sound of waves in the background and Sophia's uneven breathing. All those improvements to the company, she whispered. The new equipment, the better benefits, the education budget. That was me, watching your career flourish, making sure you had opportunities, proud of what you were accomplishing. The promotion I'm up for, there is no promotion, there's no job. You're fired, Sophia. You stole from me and lied to me and betrayed me, and you did it all while I was actively helping your career succeed. Marcus, please, we can work this out. I made mistakes, but you made choices, expensive ones. Speaking of which, how do you plan to pay for your hotel tonight? We'll figure something out. Kevin's credit is maxed out from his last 3 girlfriends, and his checking account has about $400 in it. I checked. Financial background investigations are part of my business. You might want to start making some calls to family. This is vindictive and cruel. This is consequences. You want to see. Vindictive? Keep using company resources you no longer have access to. See how understanding the district attorney is about ongoing theft. I hung up and poured myself a glass of 20-year-old scotch. Then I opened my laptop and began drafting a company-wide email that would go out Monday morning. Subject: Leadership changes at Pinnacle Marketing Solutions team. Due to personnel changes, Kevin Roberts is no longer with the company. His duties will be distributed among existing staff until we identify new leadership. Additionally, Sophia Wellington is no longer with our organization. Both departures were effective immediately and were related to violations of company policy. Please direct any questions about ongoing projects to Janet Martinez in HR. Regards, management. Clean. Professional. No unnecessary details. My phone buzzed with a text from Sophia. I'm coming home Sunday. We need to talk. I responded, I'll be in New York on business. Talk to my attorney. She called immediately. I didn't answer. Over the weekend, I received 17 calls from Sophia and 4 from Kevin. I didn't take any of them. I did, however, monitor their hotel situation through the resort's billing system. Kevin managed to cover one night with his personal card before it was declined. They spent Saturday night in the airport, flying standby on the cheapest tickets they could find. Sunday evening, Sophia's key no longer worked in our front door. I'd had the locks changed that morning along with the security system codes. Her belongings were packed neatly in boxes and placed in the garage, along with a printed copy of the divorce papers I'd filed Friday afternoon. She called from the driveway. "Marcus, come outside. We're going to talk like adults. I'm not home. Your car is in the garage. I'm not available for conversation. Your belongings are in the garage. The code is your birthday backwards. You can't just throw away 8 years of marriage over a mistake. You're right. It wasn't just one mistake. It was 6 months of calculated deception, theft, and adultery. Multiple choices, all deliberate. I never slept with Kevin. The presidential suite has one bed, Sophia. The massage appointments are for couples. The dinner reservations are marked as romantic occasions, but you're right. Technically, you haven't slept with him yet. You've just stolen from me to fund your attempt." I could hear her crying through the phone, but it sounded more frustrated than heartbroken. "Where am I supposed to go?" "That's no longer my problem. But I'd suggest calling Kevin. You two make a good team. He won't answer my calls. He's blaming me for everything, saying I talked him into the trip. Also no longer my problem. Marcus, please. I know I screwed up, but we can get past this. I'll pay back every penny. I'll quit the job. We can go to counseling. The job quit you. And marriage counseling is for people who want to stay married." Monday morning brought a new level of satisfaction. I received a call from Janet Martinez, the HR director I'd hired 2 years earlier. "Mr. Wellington, I wanted to let you know that Kevin Roberts tried to enter the building this morning. Security escorted him out per your instructions. He was agitated. Any issues?" He demanded to speak with the real owner and accused the security guards of being part of some conspiracy. He seemed genuinely shocked that he couldn't get in. And staff reaction to the departures? Relief, mostly. Several employees have already commented privately that they felt Kevin's management style was unprofessional. As for Sophia, she was well-liked, but people understood that if she violated policy, there would be consequences. Good. Any operational issues with Kevin's departure? None. Honestly, productivity is up. Turns out he was more of a bottleneck than a leader. That afternoon I received a call from Detective Sarah Martinez, no relation to Janet, from the SFPD's Financial Crimes Unit. "Mr. Wellington, we've reviewed the evidence you submitted regarding theft by former employees. The case is straightforward enough that we'll be issuing warrants this week. What can I expect in terms of timeline? Kevin Roberts will likely be arrested Wednesday or Thursday. The amount involved makes this a felony. Ms. Wellington's case is more borderline, but given the pattern of behavior and the documented intent, will probably proceed with charges. I appreciate your thoroughness. Just doing our job. Cases like this, where the evidence is well documented and the pattern is clear, make our work much easier." Wednesday evening, I was having dinner at Gary Danko when my phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. "You destroyed my life over nothing. Hope you're happy." I showed the message to my dinner companion, Harold Pinnacle, the company's former owner. "Kevin?" Harold asked. "Probably. The police arrested him this afternoon. Word travels fast in our industry." "Good." Harold refilled our wine glasses. "You know, I had concerns about Kevin when we hired him, but the board overruled me. Said I was being too conservative. The board you appointed. The board you inherited when you bought the company. Your decision to keep them was generous, by the way. They're good people. They just needed better leadership, and now they have it." Harold raised his glass. "To good leadership and appropriate consequences. To moving forward." 2 weeks later, Sophia's divorce attorney called mine. "My client is willing to waive any claim to Mr. Wellington's business assets in exchange for a reasonable settlement." My attorney, Patricia Coleman, responded exactly as we'd rehearsed. "Mr. Wellington's position is unchanged. Community property laws don't protect assets acquired through fraud. Your client is welcome to claim half of her legal fees and half of the restitution she owes the company." That's hardly reasonable. Neither was stealing from her husband's company to fund an affair. Alleged affair. Documented affair. We have hotel records, email communications, and timeline analysis. Would you like us to submit this evidence in open court? The case settled the following week. Sophia received her personal belongings, her car, and nothing else. The prenuptial agreement we'd signed 3 years earlier held up perfectly. Another bit of foresight that proved valuable. 6 months after the Maui incident, I was reviewing quarterly reports for Pinnacle when Janet knocked on my office door. "Mr. Wellington, I thought you'd want to know that we received a job application from Sophia Welling, from your ex-wife." I looked up from my laptop. "Seriously?" She applied for the marketing coordinator position we posted last week. Different last name now, but same social security number. "What did you do?" "Forwarded it to you. Figured you'd want to handle this personally." I opened the email attachment. Sophia's resume listed her experience at Pinnacle as terminated due to restructuring, and claimed she was excited to return to the innovative culture that had shaped her career. I printed the application, wrote "declined" across it in red ink, and handed it back to Janet. "File this under bold but inappropriate," I said. "Should I send a rejection letter?" "No need. I think she'll understand." That evening, I received a phone call from my ex-wife. "Marcus, I know you saw my application." I did. And we're not hiring anyone with a history of theft and fraud. That's the past. I've changed. I've learned from my mistakes." "Good for you. Learn from them somewhere else. Don't you think you've punished me enough?" I considered the question seriously. Punishment would be vindictive. This is just business. You're not qualified for employment with any company I'm associated with because of your ego, because of your character. I need a job, Marcus. Kevin won't return my calls. I can't get hired anywhere decent, and my unemployment is running out. These sound like natural consequences of your choices. You're not the same man I married. You're right, I'm smarter now. A year later, Pinnacle Marketing Solutions was acquired by a national firm for $18.7 million. I retained a 30% stake in the merged company and used my profits to expand Wellington Capital. The team Sophia left behind thrived under new leadership, and several employees received significant bonuses from the sale. I never saw Sophia again, though Harold mentioned seeing her working at a small marketing firm in Sacramento, making about half what she'd earned at Pinnacle. Kevin Roberts spent 8 months in county jail and declared bankruptcy. He's currently selling insurance in Fresno. I'm not bitter about what happened. If anything, I'm grateful. The betrayal taught me important lessons about trust and verification, about the difference between helping someone and enabling them, about the value of documentation and preparation. Some people call what I did ruthless. I call it appropriate. Sophia made a calculated decision to steal from me, lie to me, and betray me, all while benefiting from my invisible support of her career. She assumed I was too busy, too trusting, or too distracted to notice. She was wrong about all. 3. These days, I'm more careful about mixing business and personal relationships. I'm dating again, but slowly, and with much better boundaries. I still own companies, still make investments, still believe in helping people succeed, but I also believe in accountability. The house in Pacific Heights is quieter now, but peaceful. I've redecorated, removing any trace of Sophia's presence. The kitchen table where I first saw those credit card statements is now my favorite place to read. Sunday morning financial reports. Every week I'm reminded of how much better life is when you're surrounded by honesty instead of deception. My father used to say that character is revealed under pressure. Sophia's character cracked when presented with temptation and opportunity. Mine held when tested by betrayal and humiliation. In the end, I didn't destroy her life. I simply stopped protecting her from the consequences of her own actions. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing more than step aside and let people experience what they've earned. The view from my office at Wellington Capital overlooks the Golden Gate Bridge. On clear days, I can see all the way to the Pacific. It's a good reminder that some horizons are worth the journey, and some bridges are worth burning behind you.